Hey guys, Scott here for the Mental Metal channel and mentalmetaldetecting.com, and now on Patreon, so check out those links. I'll put them in the description below. Today we're going to talk about my Ascend 10T kayak and how I set it up this year to take it metal detecting and fishing. So I'm going to show you how I tricked this whole thing out with some help from my friends, but let's get to it. Alright, for starters, this is the mount I was talking about. My buddy Alan made this mount for the kayak, for this specific kayak. This is an Ascend 10T kayak. A lot of people like the 12 better. I purchased this used, so for me, the 10 is fine. I can see why people would want the 12. It's a little longer, has a little bit more space to it, and I can see that. So in retrospect, maybe I should have got the 12, but then it's going to hang out my truck even further. But this one doesn't hang out too far, so it's no big deal. But yeah, so he made this mount for us, and it mounts the motor on here really well. And this motor is a Newport Vessels 55-pound thrust motor. It's more than enough than we need. We did put it to the test today. We were in some pretty fast water. We were able to go back upstream, but it was a little tight, a little challenge. Getting back up there, but we did. I guess one of the first things to look at, I guess, are these plugs in the back that we put in. I think I put a video out here earlier on those, just to kind of give you an idea. I didn't want all the cables running through or on top of the surface of the kayak. I had that last year. It was kind of a pain in the butt. So what I did this year, with the help of Alan, he crafted these plates for us, and I got these plugs on Amazon, and I can put all that stuff in the descriptions if you guys want to check it out. And basically just made some access. Before we put the plug in, we had a whole hole here. We can reach up underneath there. My wife, with her little hands, helped screw these things down really tight, so it really made it nice. And then I just ran wire all the way through the hole, all the way down through, and we came up to the front right here. So now we have another one, and so I'll show you what we're going to do with these plugs here in a minute. But these are all sealed tight, watertight. They have a gasket behind them. I even sealed them up with some silicone just to make sure, because I do get water in the boat quite a bit from getting in and out, so that'll help. One of the other things I added this year to my kayak was a really nice set of they're called Yak Attack, or they're made by Yak Gear. Well, that's not it. They're just basically a paddle holder, and they kind of rotate when you push them down in, they lock in. So those are really nice. They're made by Yak Gear. I'll put a link in the description for those as well. The one I had last year, I lost in the water somewhere. It just plopped out of the track. This year, these things are really solid and go real nice into the track system they have here on the kayak. So that worked out well. The other thing you're going to see on my kayak is you're going to see these pulleys. They're made by Yak Gear as well. They're the Harkin Pulley Kit. And it's actually for an anchor system. I didn't use it as an anchor because I wanted to set up some sort of steering. And what I did was I cut the handle off a jump rope, and I routed this through the pulley system because it's super strong, and that's kind of why I wanted it, because it just works really, really well. It's really super strong. And I'll show you the steering in a minute here, but I put one on each side, and trust me, they're not coming out. They're just super, super strong. So let's wire up the kayak, and I'll show you how that all works. And I'll show you my pulse wave modulator, which is super awesome. Alright guys, this is my pulse wave modulator. Now, I know it looks kind of funny in a little Tupperware container, but it was the only thing I could find that would fit and make it easy to work with. And plus I put two plugs on the ends so I could actually plug in the cables and stuff to it. So we'll show you how I'll show you how I do all that here in a second. But what this thing does is it basically controls the speed of the motor. I have a forward and reverse button on it, and I have a dial that basically goes from 0 to 100. 100 being 100% of the power. So it's really cool, and it's actually it saves a lot of battery consumption, because on the motor, if you didn't have it, the motor has 5 speeds, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in reverse. Each speed consumes the same amount of power. Like, there's resistors in there to keep you from going super fast, but when you hit 5, that's your max speed. Well, even if you're at 1, it's still consuming the same amount of power in 5 as you are at 1. With the pulse wave modulator, this thing, it actually only uses what it needs as you dial up the from 0 to 100. So it's a very big saver on your battery. And speaking of batteries, this is my battery. This is a Newport Vessels box that I got, the control that houses the battery. There's all kinds of cool things on it. It's got a USB charger here on the side if you need to charge something. This is pretty cool because this opens up and the battery's inside and connects in. So you have a 10 amp breaker and a 60 amp breaker. So it's nice. If something happens, then you're good. Charge up really quickly, or I trickle charge it, so I keep it charged all the time. When I need it, it's ready to go. But the case is super awesome. I like to have the case because it's waterproof, well, water resistant. If it tips over, it's going in, it's going to be done. But for the most part, you have the battery. If it starts raining or something like that, you're not going to worry about it. And that goes in the front, and it's heavy, but it goes in the front of the boat. You have to in this boat because of the weight distribution. This boat's only rated for, I think, 325 pounds. So the 12-footer is where it becomes a little bit better. You can put the boat or the battery behind the seat, makes it a little nicer. But on the 10T, you have to put the battery up front. And so let's hook everything up, and I'll show you how it all works. All right, so I have everything hooked up, and I'll just run through real quickly how I do that. So from the motor, the cable runs right into the back. One of these plugs I have labeled for the motor goes into the pulse wave modulator, and then the other cord that comes out of the pulse wave modulator goes back into this port. This is where the wire for the battery runs all the way underneath the boat and comes all the way up to the front, where I put another plug. And I made a short little cable for the battery here. So I plug it into this outlet here, hook the battery up, should be good to go. Let's give it a test. I keep the box right next to me so I can control it, control speed, whatnot. Just if you guys are going to do something like this, make sure your motor is on number 5. I see a lot of guys take the head off and run their cabling that way. I chose not to do that. I wanted to use this motor somewhere else if I took everything off that I wouldn't be able to. But you have to make sure you keep the motor on number 5, speed number 5, so it's on the highest. That doesn't mean when you turn it on it's going to be at 5 automatically. That's where your pulse wave modulator comes in. So if you turn this on, I'm going to turn this on to forward. Turn it on, you'll have some lights light up. This is like a 100% 0 to 100 indicator. I don't have it mounted right now, but I start turning this dial up, you start seeing the motor back there turn. It's pretty neat. If you turn it all the way up, it's going pretty fast. Went pretty fast today too. So it's at 100. When you want to go in reverse, you just push that button back, do the same thing. So there you go. Works like a dream. We're really happy with the way this worked out. My buddy Greg and I have the same setup. We put the same modifications on his boat too, so it's pretty awesome. Now, how do you steer? That's the one thing I wanted to show you. So in order to steer, you have to use, like what I did is I rigged up a pipe clamp and basically got the threaded ends and put them together and screwed everything tight, and put these eye bolts in, so they screw them pretty tight. And you can clamp them down with the nut. But I have everything pretty much tightened the way I want. I do need to tighten up. It looks like those nuts that I had in the back right here, looks like I thought they were going to come off. Looks like one did, so I'll have to adjust that and make it a little tighter. But you screw this stuff in, and then what I did was I have this paracord that basically has a carabiner, and it clicks right onto the eye bolt, just like that. And the same over here for this one. So you have another one that hooks on right here. And that's it. So what this does is basically runs, I have it running through it's routed through this thing here. I actually got to put this other one in there as well. So they're routed through there, so they kind of stay out of the way in case I want to use my fishing poles. I don't have to worry about these getting in the way. And So basically I cut off, like I said, 2 jump rope handles, and if I want to pull it, I can make the motor turn. Same with over here. If I want to pull it back the other way, I just pull it this way, so the motor turns. So it actually works pretty good. I know it kind of looks kind of crude, but we've tested it out now a couple times on the water and on a lake and in the river, and it works really well. So we can't complain about that. And they don't get in the way, the cables don't get in the way, or the paracord. So it works really, really super awesome. And the fishing poles are still, you know, out of the way, and they don't get messed up either. And then I have a little container I carry behind me with all my stuff in it. Food, water, whatever. And really, that's about it. The Ascend 10T kayak with all the mods. It's worked out really well so far. I'm really happy with it. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed the quick tour of my Ascend 10T kayak. And we're going to do a lot of metal detecting in the water this year with this boat, kayak. And so hopefully we're going to find some really good stuff in the water. Alright? So until next time, we'll see you in another Mental Metal video.